Welcome everyone. Out of the Woo here. Today's adventure will take me around the greater Los Angeles area. I will be stepping into the early years, the history of the band Weezer, the formulation of all the members, a little bit of backstory, places they resided, worked, and a little bit more. Quite a few. I got 5 or 6 different spots the first show. And there is a rumor, which I have not, I have to wait till I get there, that one of the most famous spots from their history is being demolished. And I am crossing my fingers that I can get there before that happens. Who knows? I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? That's right, Bigfoot. A little music history today. You're into it? Good. Made it to Hollywood Boulevard now, where their very first show took place back in 1992, and it was an interesting coincidence. It was the same day they moved into a new house, all of them, which eventually became the band house, March 19th of 92. Didn't get word that the show was going to take place until about 5 o'clock that afternoon. It's right up here on the left-hand side. Now the way you can find the spot is the Patsy Cline star kind of gives it away. Also, Yul Brynner, this was the front door. Also, my friend Natalie is here. She's also into Weezer, so we are doing the tour together. This was the front door of Raji's, which was a restaurant, also a rib spot. Right in here, many bands that went on to greater things. It was located in the bottom of the Hastings Hotel, 6160 to be more precise on the address, Hollywood Boulevard. There's the awning of Raji's there. Notice this pole. The pole has been replaced, but obviously the electrical work and everything remain. Or it could have just been repainted, and this possibly could be the same pole or a pole in that precise spot as well, kind of looking back. So by going off this, front entrance is Barry Sullivan's star, Patsy Cline star. So you would have walked right through the front door, right there. Can you picture it? Yeah. Kind of makes sense, right? Yeah. If you had to guess, would you say that's the same pole?
I'd say it's the same pole.
Probably just repainted. So there's the 3 stars right there. The one in the middle was the Patsy Cline star. You can see where it says cuisine. So they not only had bands play here, but it was also served food. Which, you know, there's okay. Well, they still have some carrots right here on the wall. So that's food. Yeah, it does kind of look like CBGBs in a way.
Yeah, like the awning and everything. It totally does.
West Coast CBs. The cover of the vinyl. Going very fast for Sliver from Nirvana. Look up there. It was right inside there. One of the most famous photos of Nirvana, where Kurt has kind of launched his body into the drum kit. There's Chris, the bass player, behind him. But look right up there. And it's kind of interesting in a way too, because Rivers, singer, and one of the ones that started Weezer, he was a big Nirvana fan, and he always said that Sliver changed his life as far as, you know, his music preferences. Which, that's 7-inch. The photo was taken right inside here, right in the spot where his band, Rivers Band, played their very first show. Kind of neat coincidence. There's Perry Farrell. Can you flip the page just one little there? And not just them, but there's also Maynard and Tool right here at the same venue. So a lot of history. And it's gone. Long gone. Another interesting fact is I can't figure out if they opened up for or closed out the show, but Keanu Reeves' band Dogstar was the one that was on the same bill. The promoter for Raji's, they had called around, they had some demos and said, how about tonight? So impulsively at the last moment they said yes. They had just moved into their new homestead, loaded up the van, drove down here, and it happened. 2 very historic events on the same day, March 19th, 1992. They loaded into a '88 Bronco, the Carl Koch. He was the only one with a vehicle big enough to house all the equipment and tote it around town. He kind of became known as the unofficial 5th member of the band. Also the webmaster, historian, as time went on. And as the story goes, 17 people showed up to see them. 17, not bad for a first show. It's a pretty good amount, right? 17 friends?
Better than 16.
Better than 16. So if the front door was there, it means the stage would have been right over here, kind of in this section, you know, give or take a few feet. And they did play some songs that we know off the Blue album. Well, what would become the Blue album, including the sweater song, and The World Has Turned and Left Me Here. On the stage, it would have been right in this general vicinity. I think they played about eight or nine songs, if memory serves me correctly. It's now an apartment complex. Yeah, it's just amazing to think about. Oh, check this out. They got a little, not an homage, but there's some musicians here. What if they're playing maybe they're playing a Weezer cover. They could have been, yeah. Maybe they're playing I Can't Forget the Way, one of the earliest recorded songs by that band. Probably not, but it's fun to think about. And here's a description of what the venue was like. If you cross the Ramones with Arabian Nights, you might come up with something close to the new club. That's their own description of their place. It's also kind of a neat little tie-in is right here on this corner, just about a block away from where Raji's was. Well, not even a block, on the same block, just one storefront away, is where the new Amoeba Records will be. And they will most likely have Weezer albums in there. Right?
I think so.
You think they will?
At least one.
They'll probably have a lot.
Probably.
And then, you don't even know how many albums Weezer has put out?
I know they have a new one coming out.
A new one coming out, I think, at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Currently part of the El Centro complex. Yeah, record store there, and the venue was right up there where those palm trees begin. Yep, that's right, Big the Foot. Heading over to the Sunset Strip. Sunset Boulevard. On the corner of Horn Avenue and Sunset was Tower Records. It has since closed quite a few years ago, but you can see the awning still looks the same and has the Gibson guitar brand on site. Rivers, when he first moved to LA, he worked here back in 1990. And he originally didn't listen to indie rock or punk rock or alternative. He was a metalhead, and that all changed. You know, his intention was to start a heavy metal band, kind of similar to Yngwie Malmsteen, kind of shredding guitar licks. But after being here and listening to Nirvana, the Pixies, and others, all playing on rotation while behind the desk and helping customers, his outlook on what kind of music he was interested in all changed. Also, when he first heard Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, you can definitely see a Beach Boy influence in his music, as well as Nirvana's Sliver, which, as I stated a little bit earlier, really changed his music style. It became one of his favorite bands. And then when he would go to different band practices, he was in quite a few others before the creation of Weezer. He would listen to Bleach by Nirvana every night on the way to band practice. Classic car alert over there, here on the corner of Larrabee, doing a throwback photo, kind of around the same time frame that he would have worked there during the early 90s. This is modern day looking over there. I do like that they still have the awnings up. Kind of a little look into the past. Also, take a look at this. You can meet John Waters. I did find this photograph, which was, I guess would have been around 92, maybe a year or so. Well, around, maybe a little shortly, a few months after he would have been working there. You see has the Bodyguard promotional on there. So that would have been, you know, around that time period. just to kind of show what it looks like now and what it looked like back then when Rivers was there helping customers and attending to organizing CDs, vinyl, and cassette tapes. It's pretty interesting to think about. It was also right in here where he met quite a few what would eventually become future members of the band behind these walls as well. Not really sure what that carving there in the concrete says. Met Pat Finn first, who introduced him to Pat Wilson, Matt Sharp, and Jason Cropper, who became the original lineup. In an interview, he once said that some of the best advice he could give new musicians would be to get a job at a record store because it completely changed his outlook on his musical tastes and gave him a more open mind when it came to things. I'm peeking in the window though of what the inside looks like now. In '91, when Nevermind by Nirvana was released, originally he did not like it, but it grew on him after time, and that's when he decided, I can write songs like that. That's what I need to be doing. And he committed himself to doing 50 songs. He only wrote 29, but it was a 50-song challenge project. And a lot of the songs that we know stemmed from those. There's a photograph of him and the other fellas, kind of old school. See, he had the long hair. That would have been around this time frame while he was here. And starting at this point, the band was not named yet. They didn't officially name it until that show over at Raji's on Hollywood Boulevard, because they needed a name for the promoter. So off the top of their heads came Weezer. It was a nickname Rivers was given when he was in his youth because he had an asthma problem. Just no H. W-E-E-Z-E-R. The name stuck. No one came up with any better ideas, and the rest is history. Hello there, kitty. This is on the far end of the parking lot. Okay, about to move on over to the next spot. Cutting through Beverly Hills on my way to Santa Monica. No real reason to show this, but you know, Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be. Living in Beverly Hills. It was behind me at the corner of Iowa Avenue and Stoner Ave at the apartment complex, well, apartment building that is right up here. I believe it was unit number 1. That has never been officially confirmed, but Patrick Wilson lived here, Jason Cropper, Pat Finn, Carl Koch, and 3 others, I believe a total of 7, possibly 8, in this building. And Rivers was only about a mile away, and they had a lot of practices inside supposedly Unit 1 at 1711 here. The original lineup of Rivers, Patrick Wilson, Jason Cropper, and Matt Sharp took place right in here. First practice, they departed from this and went down to a local studio, was on Valentine's Day, 1992, while most lived here and Rivers lived a mile away. The mailbox, number 1 right there. They were eventually given the name the Stoner Avenue Crew. Can't get in, it's all locked up. I just wanted to kind of swing by, take a look inside here. Santa Monica. What do you think Unit 1 would be if you had to guess in correlation to the front?
I would say this one.
I think that one maybe is there were so many people living in the very tiny apartment that they built little partitions in the living room just to kind of make extra rooms. Total of 7 or 8 people in one teeny tiny apartment. Now this might seem like any ordinary Taco Bell, but it really isn't when it comes to the history of the band. And the original spot has been, I believe, has been bulldozed, has been remodeled since those days. But here on the corner of Pico, they ate a lot of meals here, hundreds. It really is an important, just as important spot as any, because it was centralized to the apartment complex and where Rivers originally lived. And then when they all moved together into the house, that's only about a block or two away from this, and they continued to frequent this establishment. Tacos, burritos. And when they moved out of the house years later, the new owner stated that they found hundreds of hot sauce packets from this Taco Bell. Who knew a fast food establishment would have so much importance? While everyone else was at the apartments a little few blocks away, Rivers was over here on Urban Ave. Rented a guest room, 2914, right down the way here. That was up until March 19th of 92, when the entire crew went over, well, not the entire crew, but a good portion went over to the Amherst spot. A lot of demos he recorded in here, some of which have kind of drifted into obscurity. One or two can be found if you do a deep dive online. But some of the songs that you know and love kind of were formulated right in here. The beginnings of some of those, trying to work them out. Kind of have to use your imagination or kind of think back a bit. Not 100% sure if he had a vehicle at those times, but if he did, would have parked it either in the driveway or street parking here out front. All right, over to Amherst. Just a short 3/4 of a mile commute. Classic car alert here at the threshold of Amherst. Right as I pulled onto the road. We got the double fingers crossed because we are hoping that it has not been bulldozed yet. We're just hoping it has not been bulldozed. Double finger. I got my finger. Cross your fingers, Big the Foot. All right, the moment of truth. It would be back. Up, it's still back there. It has not been removed. It has not been bulldozed. It is right there, 2226. Now, from what I had read online, I saw some photographs that it said it was going to be demolished, and they placed the signage was right here on this fence. Now that might have changed, but if you look, the garbage cans right there say 2226. That's the garage. In the Garage, the song from the Blue album, was in reference to what's behind that door at the end of this little duplex. This is 2222. Back there is 2226. So a little update. It has not been demolished. There's a chain here across the way. I was thinking worst case scenario, if there were workers tearing this down, I could talk to them to let me in, but I'm not seeing any activity here whatsoever. None. Still has some of the lettering there, 2226. Kind of similar to that. Now this is, if I shift it over, it's not focusing. There it goes. Kind of, sort of. Now this would be just off to the side, just a bit of what you're looking at. I'm gonna see if I can walk around the alley and get a better view. If I go around the back side of this. Should be able to get a good view, just kind of dipping around into this section. See if we can see over a fence and get a couple angles, some screenshots. This is a behind the scenes photograph of when they were recording the Say It Ain't So music video. And kind of this is the angle there, looking downward. Now right over the top of this fence line is the garage itself. And you could really see it has not changed very much. This is the little section where they were playing hacky sack in the backyard. It looks like the washing machine is still back there too. And even that cinder block wall there in the distance. See, the tree has been removed. And I think it may have been, could have been repainted. And that concrete down there, it could be a new, totally different washing machine. But there is a washing machine in the same spot. There's the film crew setting up for the music video. It is rather obstructed by foliage, but just imagine playing a riveting game of hacky sack over there. You see, bouncing it off his head, and look at kind of over. There's the cinder blocks, and this, the top of this roof is that roof there. So, camera was there on the other side of the cinder block, showing this, and a very distinct building in the background there, which back then was painted, very interestingly enough, was painted blue. No correlation to the Blue Album, but that, see above his head, he's bouncing it off his forehead. That's what we're seeing kind of off in the distance. And this, that roof there, is technically this roof. I can't get in the backyard, but that's about as close as I can match it up from that one. What I can tell, this corner here, so see the pole, that is that pole. So it would have been kind of opposite, just over that. And you'll also see this other garage, not the one from the song, or not the one from their home, but there's another garage past the alley. That would be this garage here. If we only brought we should have brought a hacky sack. We should have. Are you good at playing hacky sack?
No.
Yeah, neither am I. You're supposed to like kick it around.
I don't think that's the right.
We could have had maybe have an acorn or something. We could use an acorn. Yeah. That's not really a hacky sack. What is that?
I think that's an orange.
Oh, there, orange. Oh, there you go. Oh, pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Here we go. There is fruit in the top of that tree. So if that is over the fence line, now this isn't the same one, but it is in the same yard. So those would have been orange, or those tangerines or oranges or grapefruit. Nonetheless, there are those types of fruit kind of dangling right there. Nice. Oh, there's a squirrel shadow. Hold on. There goes a squirrel shadow across that fence. Hello, squirrel. This is from the fold out of the Blue Album. And notice this door over here. That leads to the backyard, which you can kind of look through the gate here, and you'll be able to see the tippy top of that door above the washing machine. It's all the way over in that corner. There's also a really neat angle when the camera kind of zooms in on a great like little drum sequence. Kind of zooms in that door. As well as those two windows are the windows into the backyard. You kind of see the tree branches as well. So those two windows are those windows still there. And on August 1st of '92, you know, back behind this in that garage and in the kitchen, was probably the best demo to date, named The Kitchen Tapes, which you can find. They do exist in all their glory. Called The Kitchen Tapes because the drum set was set up in the kitchen, which was just adjacent to the garage where the rest of the band equipment was, which you could see straight ahead. You can find all those songs pretty easily, but a quick search. The Kitchen Tapes. All recorded in that house, right back there. It was just about a year after those demo tapes that they went to record the Blue Album in a studio, and they threw a little shindig, a party back there. And there were so many people, they were kind of passed out on the yard, which had been between this building and the one back there. And rumor says the toilet was smashed. It's quite a party. Really what stemmed this episode and this video was the heavy circulation that this was going to be torn down. And I had to see it with my own eyes. Something I always wanted to do, but that really got the wheels in motion. I'm just thinking about the Say It Ain't So music video. Right there. Inside that very garage. Just a few feet that way was the kitchen. looking into it. I'll show an angle from that as well. And after the popularity of the band, they moved out of here, but other bands, it became kind of a band house. Other musical projects took place. And then way later, the carpet that was lining the walls inside the garage, which was the rehearsal space, they invited people to come in and take little snippets. So quite a few people have parts of that carpet. As far as I know, no one has been and documented inside there in many years. But it still stands, which is a very positive thing. Now that I'm looking at this, it looks as if the dryer was in the band room. The dryer was there, or is that the washing machine? Either or, there was one inside, one outside. There's that back door. And I was looking into the backyard, and there's that carpet that I was referring to. So this kind of angle would be almost looking where I'm standing if the garage door was open and you had a camera angle kind of up like this, kind of teetered downward. If I was able to walk another 10, 15 yards that way and that garage door was open, you would have this very frame. The Weezer house here in Amherst, in the garage. Not to be cliche, when I heard they were going to tear this down, I almost said, say it ain't so. But I don't have to say that now. Here's the track listing off of that demo recorded here. Opposite sides of the same good old fence. You see some familiar names on there. And then a photograph of the band surrounded by foliage. That's going to do it for today. If you're new here, please subscribe. By doing so, helps keep you in the loop. Update on future uploads here on this channel. And if you enjoyed this particular episode, give it a big thumbs up. Lets me know you care. See you in the next video. The vlog is over. I'm now realizing this Taco Bell is just behind the garage itself, just like a couple blocks away. Very close in proximity. I mean, it was close enough between the apartment and River's old home where he rented the room, but it's really close to the garage.